Hi, everyone. My name is Shiti, and I lead the product marketing team here at TikTok in APAC. So I'm very excited here to share a bit more about the thoughts and some ideas on how we think about social commerce, some of the trends and some of the things that we are actually seeing in this space. So the way I define social commerce is I sort of think about it as an entire shopping experience, right? And it starts from tapping into the power of consumers or people and allowing them to dictate how they want to connect and engage with brands throughout the entire journey of discovery, research, purchase. And this means that you're no longer selling to just people, but you're also allowing them to create the experiences they want with brands. It is definitely very, very highly relevant right now since the marketing landscape has changed so much in the last couple of years, right? With the privacy changes, the upturned economy, really shifting consumers' behaviors have really made the old marketing playbook a little less relevant. But I do want to call out that this behavior or this social ability to shop, right, and the connection between people has existed for a long time. It starts from that word of mouth marketing, right? When you hear about something great, you use something great, you talk to a friend, and they're making that recommendation to you. And I think what has happened really in the last couple of years is that has expanded beyond your immediate social circle and into these digital and different media and social platforms. And what has happened the last 2 years, especially with the explosion of short form video, is for all of this to be condensed within, on TikTok, it is that 30-second video, it is that 3-minute video, and it is really about that entire journey. It's no longer about that end product that we're making. It's no longer about just that end product that we are recommending or that people are recommending. It's really about, hey, how do you come and look for a product? How do you think about a product? What's that customer service looking like if you do have a retail storefront, right? All these things are now living on a short form video format. And it's really pulling consumers much closer to the brand and much closer to that end path purchase through digital. So I guess 2020 really solidified this e-commerce prevalent behavior in our lives, right? And the thing is that it has always been on the rise. It grew about 28% in 2020, and it has really accelerated right throughout this entire time. And in 2021, we expected to grow another 14%. So people are used to buying and shopping online. It's not really going to go away. So as a result, commerce offerings are expanding across all digital platforms, right? Whether that's YouTube, that's Pinterest, Amazon, TikTok, you name it. We've all ramped up solutions for commerce over the last year. And so if you ask me if this is really the future of online shopping, I think it's definitely here to stay. It's definitely something that brands should start thinking about tapping into. And if they haven't really built out a strategy around this, it allows brands to have a lot more options for where they can sell their products, allowing for increasing touch points, right, to the consumers. So this creates a lot more opportunities to connect through these digital platforms and allows for you to enrich the entire ecosystem. And with that kind of a positive framework, right, we're really seeing social commerce staying a lot longer. And it's really driven by the fact that people are really finding it fun and exciting to discover products and discover services online. I do think that these increasing touch points, right, or opportunities on multiple platforms means that brands will need to show up somewhere on digital, and they will need to make those deliberate considerations on how they want to show up so that they can allow their consumers or their audiences to participate with them, and allow the consumers to be part of that journey or to really I guess dictate is too strong of a word, but to really be part of that brand building process. As the market gets a lot more competitive, right? We're talking about marketplaces, we're talking about different channels that you can showcase your products. A lot of these solutions, right, they give very few opportunities, right, for brands to address this sort of growing disconnect between themselves and the consumers. So building a strategy to allow consumers to find ways to be part of your brand journey will become increasingly important. So if you think about it, people have really evolved past attention-based ad solutions that are designed to sell and disrupt users in that process. So you think about the ad fatigue, the platform exhaustion, and then really a lack of incentive to participate and engage, right? So this means that audiences have moved on from traditional digital advertising as we know it. And people are also very wary about being sold to. And they're more likely to believe and trust information when it comes from a credible creator or a real person, right? It's maybe not your friend anymore, but it's someone that they look up to or someone that they believe is providing them with that authentic experience or that real experience. So and it's getting increasingly more complex, right? Not only do they want to buy all these things or they want you to allow them to participate, they also want all this content to be very entertaining. And so now brands have to find ways to build content that sparks interaction, allow for co-creation, and finding ways really to blend creativity, right, with that consumer journey. And throughout that process, right? Sometimes it really means also relinquishing that brand building experience to the consumers or the audience. And we know it's not always the easiest thing to do for some of the brands. But what it does is to foster that stronger communication throughout this kind of a shopping experience. I think the reality is that audiences are already splitting their attention across multiple channels and ways they're getting information to learn about, whether it's brands or ways to shop or where to find certain brands, right? So these channels and marketplaces will always have some kind of a role to play to facilitate the entire path to purchase. For example, online marketplaces allows for transactions to take place, right? And they are the ones that provide that digital storefront. And these are useful to brands because they are easy to get on, right? And they also reach a high volume of consumers. But where, maybe a bit of that gap we're seeing is that it might not always offer that many brand building opportunities. So it might be difficult for brands or retailers to stand out from that perspective. And then on social platforms, right, there's more opportunity in these spaces for brands to share their messaging since it is obviously based off of that social connection. And also a lot more conversations can take place on these platforms, right? If you think about that social messaging or the ability to create that one-on-one messaging experience. So rather than seeing it as sort of a cannibalization of the traffic and attention, I think it's really more about finding that balance between each platform, which platform draws in the right audiences, and how are you able to allow your consumers to continue growing with your brands, right, across all these multiple touch points and multiple channels. One of the things I love about the platform is this all driven really by the community, right? And all the organic engagement that really happens on the platform. And the community is what is already defining what happens and what they enjoy and what they want from brands, right? And TikTok really is the place where brands are able to meet consumers' desires and connect with audiences in all these honest and deep, meaningful ways. So from my perspective, this is really a system that is word of mouth marketing taken to that next level. And it's also powered by a lot of these stories or experiences by real people, creators. People are just doing normal things and sharing those experiences on TikTok. And they just so happen, right, to be featuring different brands as they're sharing their experiences. So this is also why you see the hashtag TikTok made me buy it hit more than 5 billion views and is still continuing to grow. For consumers, though, TikTok really is a break from the existing advertising models that they've outgrown. And consumers are more digitally savvy than ever, and aggressive retargeting sometimes feels a bit more alienating to them. And for brands, having another way to speak to consumers on TikTok helps them break away, right, from some of these traditional messaging models. And this gives them an ability to have much more lasting power and more opportunities to speak to consumers in meaningful ways.